obviously you've got your gins in front of you and in the pack, but let's introduce everyone so you can see who we've got here tonight. First of all, from Archie Rose, we're joined by Paul and by Dave. I'll start by shooting to you. Paul, how you going, mate?
I'm very well. Thank you, Jono. Good to be here. Thanks for putting it together, mate. Epic session.
Absolutely. It's going to be great. I'm super, super excited. And to try this this harvest gin of yours, which is sensational. Dave, how are you, mate?
Hey, how you going? Thanks for having me.
Dave, for everyone to know, Dave is the head distiller at Archie Rose. Paul is the Melbourne goat of Archie Rose, a person that's been in the industry for longer than I can remember, and always with Australian products, which is amazing, and a good dear friend of Casa de Vinos. Absolutely. As well as Dave. Dave's been in liquor for probably just after 18, right? I would say. You used to be the first time I met you, Dave, you were managing the Oak Barrel, the best liquor store in Sydney by far.
And from Holdfast Distillery, from north of Eden, we're trying the Connoisseur Gin tonight. We're joined by Gavin. How are you, mate?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys going?
Sensational, really good. And we're excited to try this gin tonight from you and hear a little bit about your awesome distillery. And I love the background there. It looks very, very sort of farm-esque, and I think that's probably pretty appropriate for where you are location-wise.
Yeah, well, I'm actually sitting in our cellar door where we also run a gin school. So you can see the little still in the background, or a couple of stills in the background, which people can come out here and get to experience the process of making gin.
Absolutely.
Very cute little stills here.
It's very cool. Cheers, Gavin. We'll hear from you shortly. And from Manly Spirits, we're joined here by Vanessa. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm very good, guys. Really good.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And you're at your distillery now. You said there's a little bit going on down there at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've had to go up into the office because downstairs it's a whiskey tour happening, a cocktail making class, and open bar. So it would have been a bit of a racket. So anyway, you got the vibe sort of happening. The stills are down there. So
yeah,
all good.
Awesome. Manly Spirit. I'm so excited for everyone to try this gin tonight. It's a great one and it's been around for a little bit, and it's a really, really good example of how you can use a Australian native botanical to sort of take a twist on what might be a bit of a popular gin sort of category. So thank you for joining, Vanessa, and we'll hear from you shortly. Over to Gavin now from Holdfast Distilling. Gav, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Thank you. And yourself? Thank you for inviting us and having us along.
Absolutely. Really excited. And your distillery is located in
co-located with Riverbourne, so it's just 50 minutes southeast of Canberra, but it's about 15 degrees colder there, so I'm happy to be sitting back at home in Sydney.
Yeah, and it looks like you've got some good stuff on your back bar.
Yeah, Gavin is another person that's been working with spirits for a very, very long time. He's also a massive whiskey geek, and particularly he loves Japanese whiskey because he lived some time in Japan, and we get about that when we get to talk to you.
Absolutely.
What a panel we have tonight.
That's awesome. And it doesn't finish there. From Art Distillery, we've got Michael Art, the man himself. How are you, mate?
Very well. Can you hear me?
Certainly can, loud and clear.
Yeah, we're very excited to be here. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you for joining tonight. This gin we're trying from you guys tonight is very, very special, and I'm so excited for everyone to try this. And it's the first time that I guess a lot of people would be trying this because it's a pretty recent release.
It's only a week old.
A week old. And also Cameron, I'll spotlight you as well there for a second. Cameron's the operations manager at ARP, and he's joined us tonight as well in his little lockdown there in Sydney. How are you, mate? Got yourself muted there, Cameron. I think I can ask to unmute, and then maybe, how are you, mate? You good?
Hey, how are you?
Very good, mate. How you going?
Good. Trying to be all locked up in ISO isn't so fun. It's pretty boring, but got to do what we got to do.
Yeah. For Cameron, and I don't know if you want this to be news across for everyone, but it's going to be now. Cameron went to a restaurant a couple of days ago, and someone there had COVID, and he's been given the all clear. He's fine, but he still has to lock himself up in his apartment. So we sent him a gin pack, and at least you can drink away the night, and that's something to do.
Brilliant. There's nothing better.
And of course, as always, we're joined by the wonderful Trish Brew from Fever Tree. How are you, Trish?
Better for seeing all of your beautiful faces. I love our repeat offenders, and I'm so lucky to know half of these amazing distillers tonight. But there are half I haven't actually met, and so this is really great for me. And what has been fabulous. Thank you so much, Casa de Vinos, for putting me in touch with these amazing people. I get to hang out with my friends and, write this off as a work night, I suppose. But I am so excited to crack in, and I can see in the comments that everyone else is too. So, get a drink, baby.
I'm not going to believe that this is the first drink everyone's having, but saying that it's 7 o'clock and many are waiting.
Absolutely. There's all this beautiful liquid in front of us,
Yes.
Jose, and there's nothing yet in our glass. So
what are we going to do about it?
Without further ado, let's get the night underway. So the order that we introduced all the distillers in, that's the orders of the gin that we're tasting tonight. So we're going to start with the Archie Rose Harvest Gin. We're going to go to North of Eden.
Yep.
And then Manly, Hold Fast, and the Art Barrel Aged at the end. Now,
you can see the order on the main camera. That is the order.
This way to this way. Now,
North of Eden, Manly, Hold
a
Fast.
little bit of housekeeping, a lot of familiar faces in here, but maybe some people who haven't done a tasting with us before. The way we do it is we put a little bit of the gin in our glass. We have a smell of it, a play around with it without putting in any tonic or any of the botanical or any of the garnish match. And then we'll guide you with which tonic and which garnish goes in as we talk to the distiller. So it's pretty easy. Take a seat, enjoy, and sit back, and let's pour this first amazing gin into our glass. So this is the Archie Rose Harvest Gin Poorman's Orange. So Jose, pour a little bit in there for you, mate.
Yeah, you need to standard. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit for now, and then we'll see how you go about halfway through. So
let's ask Dave. How are you, Dave? And
how you going, Jose?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Tell us a little bit about Poor Man's Orange. Or tell us a little bit about you. You started so many years ago as a manager of the Oak Barrel. Then you moved into Archie Rose. I stay open. And then tell us a little bit about your history on distillation and a little bit about the history of also Archie Rose and how this gin came out.
Yeah, great question. So yeah, I sort of started right at the beginning. So right at the tail end of 2014. We're a distillery. We've been around in Sydney for 6 years now. And it really started, there was 4 of us, kind of grown, and we just love spirits. We do a range of different spirits, and our sort of philosophy across the business is that, different spirits have different kind of moments in your life. And so we make whiskey, gin, vodka, and, it's all about, you go to a winery or something like that and, just have the Cab Sav. There's also Sauvignon Blanc or whatever it is. And so different spirits have different moments for different people. So, and we kind of believe that even just within, the kind of gin itself, right? Like the category of gin, different gins have different moments. And, sometimes I know I get home and I just want something that is big, bold and brash. And sometimes I want something a little bit softer. And it's just kind of, how you feel in that moment. So, for us, we do a lot of experimentation. We do a lot of trials and a lot of work with a lot of different ingredients. And kind of this whole project for Harvest really came about because we work with some amazing providores and some amazing suppliers and growers. And for us, we really felt like, we should talk about these guys more. We should we should actually put them at the front and their ingredients and their produce. And it's such an amazing thing to be able to have that connection to the grower, that we wanted to really champion that and be less about us and be more about the people that we work with. So yeah, we did that in this case. So this is the poor man's orange. We also have some bergamot in there as well, and some green finger limes, some emerald green finger limes. So
yeah, it's a big citrus bomb,
Yeah.
on the nose, and it's just such a gorgeous gin, and I mean it's got a lot of awards as well, and I think that they're rightfully they're very well deserved.
So you guys pour a little bit neat. Now everyone pour a little bit neat. Don't put the tonic yet. If you want, leave a little bit behind in the little bottle, sample bottle, so you can nose it later, just to have a little, if you want that. What I also suggest is don't finish the whole gin and tonic, because you can smell a lot of things after.
Yeah. So as we're nosing this one, this is one that I'd like to put the garnish in at this stage, because the garnish is really, really interesting, because it's a part of the gin itself. So the garnish is the dehydrated orange. Now, Peter Dryden has got the Wombat's Bottom is this like little citrus growing place where they grow these amazing citruses, where the poor man's orange, which is the one we've got here, and the bergamot that's in the actual gin itself as well, are from. So I'm going to put a little bit of that dehydrated orange in there, because it's already a key component of the gin. I think it's just sensational, and it really starts to bring out those citrus notes even more. And while we're having a little bit of a nose and a play around with that in the glass, Dave, the sort of the smell aroma of this gin, it's very citrusy, yeah, and I mean that's a key component of this gin.
Yeah. So I mean, we really, for me, I mean, if you've ever spent any time or you've met me, and I encourage you, if you do see me out at anything, come over and have a chat. I'm a big fan of talking about the Australian distilling history, right? I mean, it's such an important thing that we should talk more about in Australia. And it sounds kind of boring, but actually it's pretty cool. And for those of you that have paid any attention to the history of distilling gin in Australia, orange gin is a major category. There was a lot of that made and by some pretty big producers. And so this is kind of our ode to the old-fashioned orange gin. And it makes some amazing cocktails. And so, that's sort of old-fashioned orange gin. And so we really wanted to do that. So we steeped a bit of orange blossom in this one, which gives it that kind of slight blush to it, and kind of really complements that big citrus, sharp sort of flavor that you can get, and kind of balances it out. It sort of becomes a bit more honeyed. For me, it's almost like kind of walking through a meadow. You have that really soft kind of golden sunshine. I'm going to wax poetic now, but it has that golden kind of sunshine and that really soft, elegant, silky kind of character. And I think, Jono, you mentioned just before, it just cleaned up a pretty big award internationally. It just won the Masters medal at the World Gin Awards. I mean, this is a big deal. So it was a category winner. It was the most highly awarded Australian gin. It also, was one of 6 gins internationally that sort of picked up that award. And we were absolutely stoked. The whole team was really blown away. And also as well, we actually won 4 other gold medals as well at the same awards. So kind of showed this was really a standout for the judges on the day. And, we're loving it.
Your neck must be getting sore with all medals.
What was that, sorry?
Your neck must be getting sore with all those medals.
It's medals are great. For us, we make gin for the gin that we love, and we know the people that we share it with love. It's not about the medals, but it's also sometimes nice to kind of have that acknowledged.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, you got to think that Archie Rose is a very new, small distillery that only started, it's 5 years ago, right? So, the medals help to show the small
that sort
guy.
Of acclaim, it shows,
Yeah, so it's great. It's something that is we embrace for small producers. no one's gonna, clap a medal of a Gordon's, of a Bombay, or but small producers is,
To get them,
it's a lot.
it's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a little bit of ice in this now myself, and put a little bit of tonic in there too. So,
Dave, how many, or you can tell us about the botanicals, about that, how many, at least maybe the 5 biggest botanicals on this gin?
So the tonic we're matching this one with is the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
So we'll let you know as we go all the tonics that we're matching with which one. This one's the Mediterranean. So
let me just cancel the spotlight and show us here.
Where are we going? To the middle or over here?
The one.
Yeah, there you go. So the Fever Tree Mediterranean tonic, we've all tried this one before. I assume it's probably one of the number ones in the Fever Tree range, and really, complements so many gins well. And this is another instance of that.
And here we can ask a question to Trish about the matching of this gin with the Mediterranean tonic, because in this case, Trish always, this is one of the things that I always get from Trish, is just follow the colors of the gins.
The color,
yes. The color of the label,
and you'll never fail.
But this is your this is yellow blue.
Yellow blue. So
but there are exceptions.
And we found it. Maybe we found an exception into the.
How are you, Trish? Let me introduce Trish. Trish is the Fever Tree National Ambassador. Trish, I met her a very long time ago when she used to manage the Gin Palace in Melbourne. One of my dear friends from hospitality, probably person that has tasted more gins than I don't know, anybody in this country. Trish, tell us a little bit about this Fever Tree and why we're matching it with this Archie Rose gin.
Well, I love that you caught me out on that, Jose, and thank you for such a wonderful introduction as always. And I don't want to bore my friends that are watching that have seen me talk a million times, and I just love that this is me hanging out with our gin friends, isn't it, Jose? We love it. There's so many pals on here. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to try not to bore you, and you call me out. And I always say that you got to match color and color if you're in doubt, though. And, I've just taken up art in ISO round 2 for Melbourne. So blue and orange would be murky and terrible in the art scape. Luckily in the gin scape, it is not. It's still very good. I love the Mediterranean. It's the tonic, and I'm sure you've all heard me harp on about this before, but it's a tonic that made me love tonic in the first place. And seriously, it is. And it's really funny that, I'll tell you a bit about the tonic first and why I love this combination, which I have tried before. But the Mediterranean tonic, we use lemon thyme and rosemary, and the lemon thyme comes from Provence, and it's grown alongside lavender. And so it gets this beautiful coastal influence, it gets this beautiful floral aspect. It's not as bitter as you'd like, and that is the tonic that turned me on to tonic. And you all know me, I'm a huge fan of a gin and tonic. But I tried this combination with Archie Rose when this gin came out. And the worst thing was when you leave hospitality and you leave being a bartender, you don't have the ins anymore. You have to really do a lot more research for yourself. And I was kind of like sitting there in a bar in Canberra, and that's the first time I tried the Archie Rose Harvest Gin, and the bartender recommended it to me with the Fever Tree Mediterranean, no joke, in a few months ago. And Archie Rose, what don't they do well? But that combination together just blows my mind. And I just love that I was recommended it to a bartender when they'd only released a few bottles at the time. And so good. I can't wait to see what you guys think about this. But oh my God, and Johnny, that garnish is spectacular. You nailed that.
It's awesome. I don't want to say what we had to do to smuggle the citrus in from New South Wales.
We don't say smuggle live on Facebook.
Let's continue. No,
we got this Pullman's orange. We managed to get Pullman's orange, and everyone has Pullman's orange. Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome. Trish, thank you. That's so interesting. How the time has fared you well from trying that Archie Rose with the Mediterranean to now you are the Mediterranean tonic.
I would like to hear what people think. This is very floral, lifted, citrusy. The juniper doesn't dominate. It's a very modern gin, right?
Absolutely. It's a modern Australian gin.
Yeah, modern Australian gin.
There's some good stuff going on in the chat. We can see everyone absolutely loves this one, rightfully so. It's such a beautiful citrus forward gin. Should we have a chat to Paul?
Yes. Paul.
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
I'm well. I'm good. I'd almost forgotten. I have to chat. I'm enjoying this so much. And by the way, thank you, Fever Trish. It's my go-to, the Med Tonic. It's just like if I'm ever in doubt of pairing a gin with a tonic, that's it. You know it's going to fit 90% of the time. But
Tony Sommelier of Australia.
that is it. But yeah, sorry, Jose, did you have a question or?
Yes. Tell us a little bit about now that you're working with Archie Royce, about these gins. What are you doing around here? Now we got a lot of local customers, of course. This is a national event, and we got people in New South Wales, but the majority of the consumers here in Melbourne. Tell us a little bit about. Of course, we've been a bit restrained by the current conditions, but Archie Royce, the Melbourne hospitality.
Look, starting with the Melbourne hospitality, because this is really what sort of gave me a start in the spirits industry. And as you touched on before, I've worked with a few different brands, primarily local stuff here. You know, whiskey, gin, vodka, sort of almost across the board. With a couple of different producers, which has been beautiful because I mean, that's really my passion. It's Australian spirits and sort of being really close to the source of those who make it, or occasionally, you know, getting your hands dirty and being part of the process yourself. And I love it. And, you know, so it was being a bartender that brought me into that. And without giving you my life story, it does hit me in the heart at the moment, you know, the current state of things here in Victoria. But I mean, if you're to find a silver lining with that, it is that we have been doing so many online tastings at the moment. We've been able to reach people that we wouldn't have before. So I think we've tapped into this new form, this new platform it's going to stick around for the long term, which is great. And then of course, when the bars reopen again, I'll be, you know, counting down the seconds and I'll be kicking the doors down. But I guess, you know, second to that too is like we put a limited release product on the market like this, which is great. You know, Dave and the guys get to kind of flex their creative muscle, sort of push the regular boundaries, you know, something that's not going to be around forever. We've got a decent amount of it, but the uptake on this and the response has been absolutely fantastic. You know, I've been pouring this out to a lot of people, and we've currently got 5 gins in our range, and this has just been an absolute showstopper. So as much as I didn't twist Jono's arm too much about putting this on, I will give you full credit, Jono, for choosing this particular gin, because it's you know, I think it's something that's a bit out of the box, but still it's a crowd pleaser. It's not gimmicky, you know. It's a good gin.
I think what is like really, really special about this gin is it does have that uniqueness, and it celebrates an Australian small citrus producer.
Yep.
And that's, you know, a really, really great feat in itself.
And that is also Archie Royce's belief, right? Dave it's always been a massive geek of production of everything spirits.
Yeah.
Right. With the whiskey, they are growing, talking with producers of the local barley, several strains of barley. With gins, they are working with the Sydney Opera House. They are getting growers of local citrus producers. You know, it's pretty amazing. They're championing rye, local rye,
Australian produce, which is amazing to see. I think everybody in the chat that we're seeing and we're talking about this is absolutely loving this gin. It's sensational. Jose, if you want to maybe spotlight here or us, we're gonna keep drinking this one, and we'll ask a few more questions of Archie Royce before we jump to the next one. Yeah. But Jose, tonight, as always, we've got a discount code.
So basically tonight we reward. We don't like discounts. I am Jewish by heritage. I
like them.
So yeah, but you're not Jewish.
Tasmania.
So, you know, for us, it's against our religion, discounts. We cannot do like discounts.
Should we give
but
them money?
Only tonight, for the people that is here, we give a 10% across all our website with the code Juniper.
Juniper.
So it's just only for tonight. This works only Juniper. Yes. gin juniper.
And that's all the gins we're tasting tonight as well.
Only
to
works
support the
tonight.
producers.
Tomorrow doesn't, and don't let my family know I do this because we all,
Jose will link in the chat as well the links to these gins as well, so you can get a pretty good sort of deal on them if you're into these gins, which I certainly am. And this Archie Rose is such a good one to kick off the night. I might jump back to you, Dave, and ask. This was a two-part question. This was the 2019 harvest. Is there going to be a 2020, a 2021? What's the future of this line of gins for you? And also Archie Rose in general. What sort of things can we expect? We know you've got the new swish set up there.
Yeah, that's an awesome question. Yeah, we're definitely going to kind of continue this whole harvest kind of approach, but it doesn't necessarily need to be gin. I think we'll definitely see some more harvest gins out there, because for us, it's about celebrating, and I think Jose said it really well. For us, it's about celebrating, the uniqueness of the season and the uniqueness of the grower. And when you talk to these growers, right, I mean, they tell you about how there was a late frost and there was a bit of rain, and, this very detailed account of how the climate and the year sort of impacts exactly how the fruit or the produce tastes. And for wine, I mean, that's a conversation that we've had so many times. How many times have you heard about, the vintage for wine being good or bad or what have you? We should embrace that for all produce. I think that seasonal variation and how amazing that can be. For us, what's up in store is, we're just commissioning our new distillery at the moment. It's been a long time in the making. It's a very complicated site, but we're really, really very excited to be able to sort of take things to the next level, take good quality produce and sort of really just, work our craft and bring as much kind of innovation and as much sort of excitement and passion to the next products that are coming off the line. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? We're all spirits lovers, and we all just want to taste some tasty juice. So that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Do you have like an idea? Are you thinking of doing another harvest gin as part of your next sort of run next year, 2020 harvest?
Yeah, we'll definitely do another harvest gin. Yeah. I think we've worked with some awesome growers. I mean, so you mentioned Peter Dryden. I mean, he's a great guy. We've also worked with, there's another lady, Vicky from Marvick Farms out in WA. I mean, we did 9 different, finger lime trials. I didn't even know there were that many finger limes. Apparently there are 42 different varieties of finger limes in Australia to land on the one that we're using in this gin. So, I mean, it's great. I mean, the produce is such a source of inspiration, we're definitely going to do another harvest gin without a doubt.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for the next harvest gin because this one's been bloody sensational. And I'm especially keen to see how Archie Rose continues to grow, especially in the new digs you've got going on there.
The whiskey, we are waiting. I am waiting. Jonas said, I'm waiting on the whiskey.
We're doing a gin soon.
Okay.
Jose,
I'm excited.
Jose's excited for whiskey. Absolutely. Yeah. And I can't fault you for it.
Yeah.
Dave and Paul, thank you so much for chatting to us about the harvest gin, and it's an absolutely cracking gin. We might say good day to you later on in the night when we get towards the end, but time to crack on with the next one.
Yes, I think most of the people we have already finished, so it's good that we move on.
Let's do it.
What's next?
So the next one, we're heading to north of Eden, which is the gin sort of subset of Stoney Creek Distillery's the gin line. So it's the Connoisseur Gin.
I'm going to show it here.
Show the bottle. It's an absolutely gorgeous bottle. North of Eden, in the hinterland of the Sapphire Coast in New South Wales, which is this amazing sort of farming area, but also on the coast, close to the seaside. And
how do you know about this distillery? What was your research? Because one of those things is that this is a very small distillery, which is great, and that's what we love. It's all about all that your research. I want you to explain to everyone, how do you find these very small, outstanding producers, John?
These ones, well, there's a lot of distilleries tonight that are bigger. Archie Rose, Manly, and up is getting, getting really acclaimed as they deserve. Then Stoney Creek Distillery, like this smaller one, and then the whole fast yes. Try as well. Two really, in essence, quite small distilleries, but doing some really amazing things. We find out about them more often than not just by word of mouth, different people in the gin community. And we've got a really good gin page in the Australian Gin Appreciation Society. And one person on there or a friend of mine who's a bit of a gin head might buy a gin from a distillery, which isn't quite as, as big or isn't, all over the shops or in the big retailers. And we try them and we talk about them and we're often blown away with them. This is an example of this. So let's jump over to Gavin there from, can we highlight Gavin, Jose,
yes,
from north of Eden?
Once again,
He's got a beautiful background. He's in his shed there.
There's so many people in here. I can't find Gavin. Maybe Gavin, if Gavin speaks, he will come up.
Yeah, he's got internet problems.
He's got internet
because
problems.
they're in the hinterland. So this is like really far out in the coast of New South Wales. And he was saying earlier they were expecting a big storm tonight. And so maybe the storm has brewed and his internet has
is this Gavin?
Yeah, that's Gavin there.
Yeah,
well,
there we go. I'll mute more and make a host. Yes.
Co-host him, we'll spotlight him.
Hello.
There. Hey!
He couldn't unmute himself. He
there
just stopped.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hold on. There we go.
How are you?
Gavin, how are you, mate?
I'm doing well, Jono. How are you?
Fantastic. Sensational. And thanks so much for joining us and letting everyone here try your gin tonight. I'm going to pour my little glasses. I'm sure most people at home already have. Into the glass, my 30 mils or ish of your amazing the Connoisseur Gin. And could you tell us a little bit about you guys, the history?
Yeah, so you might have noticed that my background's changed, and that's because the storm's starting to come through, and I've lost connectivity from the cellar, so I've had to come into the house. So if you hear some bumping in the background, that's my partner Karen making some dinner for us later on. But yeah, so let me talk about the Connoisseur, or about Stoney Creek Farm Distillery. We're down here on the south coast, just north of Bega, which is also north of Eden, which is why we call ourselves North of Eden. North of Bega didn't quite work as a tagline, or south of Cobargo, so hence that's how we came up with the name. But we established ourselves in 2018. That's when we did our first runs, and we did our first commercial products in 2019. And this gin actually won a bronze medal at the International Wine and Spirits Competition in London, and also won one in San Francisco. So we're pretty proud about its consistency and that it gets that tick.
How came about distilling? What was how do you came about distilling? What was when did you say I want to start distillation commercially, right? It's
Okay, so my background is I've been a distiller since 1991, and I used to run a company called CSR Ethanol, and we used to make most of the neutral spirit, which was supplied around Australia between us and Manildra. And so my background is actually making really clean spirit. So I've been doing that. So I've been doing that for over 25 years.
Amazing.
So in fact, when Bill Lark put up his application to allow for small distilling to be in Australia, I was one of the companies that actually supported his application way back when. So yeah, been in the industry a long time, but when it comes to getting into gin, that's a new experience for myself and my partner Karen. So we decided to make that shift in 2018, and seemed like a natural extension. Prior to that, I'd owned a cocktail bar in Melbourne for about 10 years. a little place called the Luster Bar in just off to Grave Street.
Yep.
So really cool little hot hip place. And we used to specialise in cocktails and showcasing, I suppose, some unique spirits around the place.
Yeah, and your gin here definitely absolutely slides into that category. So you paid a little bit of homage to your past there. I love the profile of this gin. It's 43.5% AB. It carries a little bit of weight. I understand that you do a little bit of foraging for botanicals around your actual property and even around the foreshore, as perhaps a little bit of kelp in here. As we have a little bit of a nose of this before we put in the tonic, or some people might have already, but what are the sort of things that you find from around your property, and how does that influence the profile of this gin?
Yeah, so being a micro distillery, and we're really at the very small end of the world. We have 100 litre still, so we work at the very small end of the world, and we have an ethos which basically says we want to connect all of our gins to our place, so the place of where we are. So of the botanicals that go into this gin, a lot of them we grow on the farm ourselves. And the signature ingredient in this one, it's actually kelp, which we forage from the shoreline up at Mystery Bay, which is about 40, 45 k's north of where we are on the south coast. It's just a pristine place. It's just like, if you haven't been down to the south coast and seen the sapphire blue waters down here and the clarity of them and the beautiful white sands with the rainforest, well, not rainforest, but temperate forest coming right up to the shore. It's just an idyllic type environment.
Sounds like a
I got a question for him, because
invite to me, Gavin.
this is one of the things you just mentioned kelp. How do you find the kelp? It's like you're walking on the shoreline and it's like, oh, I take this, I take that. It's like it's a very I talk of ignorance literally because I don't know.
So you're actually not allowed to dive for kelp and harvest it from the seabed without a very specific license and so forth. But given that we have many rough seas, a lot of it actually gets ripped up and then dumped on the shoreline, particularly in this little part of the world. And so that's where we go foraging for it and collect what we need to be able to make this gin. But no, I really like this gin. It's got a wonderful sort of full mouthfeel. It really engages your whole palate.
It's the nose and everything.
It's gorgeous. Let's throw a little bit of I'm going to throw a bit of ice in mine, and a little bit of the Indian tonic is the one that's matched. So I know some of us might already be putting a little bit of Indian in there. It's gorgeous.
Really spicy, huh?
I think it'll make a great martini as well.
Yeah.
But a little bit of the Indian tonic, and the garnish with this one is the grapefruit. So a little bit of grapefruit with this one. I just find it sensational. I find it a really, a beautiful gin, and it's got that sort of kelpiness, I guess, the oiliness, the brininess that you get from using that as a botanical, but it's also got a really nice sort of citrusy backbone and a little bit of fruitiness as well.
Also, I forgot to say, heads up, you don't need to use the full tonic for your 30 ml sample. For example, Jono maybe would use a quarter of that tonic. I will use half of the tonic, but you don't need to use the full of it.
It's to your taste.
Yeah, it's to your taste.
Whatever you like. As we always say, as Trish says, and everyone, there's ways that as distillers and producers will say this is a good way to be able to drink and consume our product. But at the end of the day, if you like drinking something a particular way, you should do it that way, and don't let other people
experiment.
Tell you how to live your life.
And that's great advice. From our perspective with this gin, we recommend 1 part gin, 2 parts tonic. And that way, you get the best of the tonic and you get the best of the gin as well. But again, as you say, if you like it a different way, go for it. It's you're the one who's got to drink it.
Jumping over to Trish quickly.
Trish, tell us about the Indian tonic. Tell us about.
We know that a lot of us, we talked about the Indian tonic with you before, but It's such a sensational tonic, and with this sort of gin where it's like really big botanical wise, the Indian tonic's obviously big as well. How are you finding this pairing?
Well, Jono, I love this. And do you know what I love? I love talking with you, especially leading up to these events, because Jono and I have a lot of fun putting these together, and he asked me my opinions, and and I think we just like, he and I together have a bit of a room of crazy between us, to be honest. So I really love, with Jono and I are both like old school, like crazy gym people. So we really do like to go to the extreme. So nothing that we pair is going to be super casual, unfortunately. And, as I can see in the comments from you guys, and you've all got really discerning palates, which is fantastic. And, there's so many different, and what was really great when, Gavin was talking about North of Eden Gin, there were so many people in the comments going, oh, this would go with this tonic, this would go with this. And I just really love that you guys know. And it's exactly like Jono said, whether you like it or you don't, you're right. And you really are right. And, we're just, Jono and I will pick the craziest pairing. And Gavin said like 2 parts tonic to 1 part gin. And that's right. And then if you want to add tonic, you can, but you cannot take it out. But, this is the first time I'm actually lucky enough to try North of Eden Gin. And I've wanted to try it for so long. And I've only heard great things about this gin, and trying it is beautiful. I love the coastal influence. So that would work with the Mediterranean tonic as well. Classic gin botanicals. So that's why Jono and I picked the Indian tonic, and that's kind of the birthplace of the gin and tonic, the classic gin and tonic pairing. So the zestiness uplifts it, makes it more bitter. And I think it was Andrew in the comments who said that we're going to pair it with an elderflower and cucumber. And there's like, there's so many, ideas about how this would work. And you're absolutely right. And I think I'm going to try it all 3 ways. I'm on the Indian tonic at the moment, which is the more bitter style, goes great with that classic gin botanical feel. I'm so excited to try it with the Mediterranean tonic, because we have that coastal influence as well with that lemon, thyme and rosemary. And so I do suggest that you guys keep a little bit of your tonic, so that if you do want to try it a couple of different ways, you should. And I think you know what, Gavin, it's so nice to meet you today, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. And I've still got a couple more pairings to go with Fig Tree, but we're all going to let you know what we think. Okay.
Awesome.
I think
that'd be great.
That is exactly what Tricia said. Is exactly the ethos of what we do, and I think most is experimentation. You try your gin with different garnishes, and think outside the box. So if you don't want to use fruits and go for veggies, try, of course, like veggies like cucumber. You can try asparagus if you want.
Yeah.
I remember one day the guys from the West Winds told me, try my gin with capsicum. I said, what? And I was like, yeah, it did work. And I was like, I never thought of my life you would try with capsicum.
Well, John, when it comes to this particular tonic, the way that we prefer to serve it, we actually use the Indian tonic for this one. We use the Mediterranean with our classic, because we think that's a great pairing. But this one we actually serve with basil and cracked pepper. Wow. And as a combination, those things just work brilliantly. But I'm also interested because this particular gin also has some elderberry and elderflower, and it's the elderflower tonic, which Fever Tree do. I haven't actually tried it with this gin yet, but I'm thinking that might also work quite well.
It could be good too. And I think Trish saying that it's an awesome comment, and it's a good way to do it. We've got all these tonics and these amazing gins in front of us. Maybe pour 10 mils and try with a couple of different tonics. That could be the way to go as well. It's all about experimenting.
You've got the guns.
Fun. I've got, these are the other ones from North of Eden. If we can do a highlight here, Jose.
Yes, I want to highlight.
So we've got we're trying the Connoisseur right now, but this is also here we go. But this will be a test for me. You're better at that. So the Admiral, that's their Navy strength. The classic, that's their classic. There. And tonight we're trying the Connoisseur, which is somewhere in between. All sensational gins, Gavin. I absolutely love what you're doing. Just before we jump along it, we'll go back to you later, of course. What's happening at North of Eden?
What's next? We want to know what you're working on. What is exciting you? I got another question. First answer this one, and I got another question after this one.
So, well, I suppose the first thing I should tell you is the Admiral, which you just held up. We've just been advised that we've won a silver medal for that in the London International Wine and Spirits competition. So we're really stoked.
Congratulations! This is the Admiral.
So
It's just
thanks,
gone up in
guys.
price.
A sinful gin. Why is a sinful gin?
A sinful gin. Well, that's probably because it dates back to having
Get up to trouble.
57% alcohol in it. But yeah,
And
so
you
you
get up to
asked about the sort of future, and like we've got a number of things which we're working on. But one of the projects that I'm really looking forward to is I've just got my hands on some French oak barrels, and I'm looking to do a number of things with them. But one is I'm looking to age some gin, and I've got a profile of gin that I'm working on for that. So a barrel aged gin. And then after I've done a couple of barrel aged gins, I'm then looking to actually put that into whiskey. So yeah, so we've got some exciting things coming up over the next few years. But you know, we're right at the beginning of our journey, and look, it's been really difficult in this part of the world with drought, then bushfires, which have just devastated this area, and then COVID, of course. But you know, hey, we've got our chins up. We might have only been able to trade for 3 weeks this year, but hey, we're still in there.
I had muted myself, and we're going to go back to you a little bit later, saying that, I don't know if everyone saw here, northofeden.com.au, here's some really nice goodies in there. If you want to support a very small producer, get into there.
Go check it out.
Don't say, check out Jose and you get it. No, you don't get anything. No.
Thank you so much for joining us and letting us try your gins. You're inside now. You're out of the shed. So as the storm comes in, I hope you can join us there from the hinterland of the Sapphire Coast. But let's keep cracking on, and we'll jump back to you later.
What's next, Jono?
Well, next up, we're heading to Manly Spirits, and we've got the Lily Pilly Gin, an absolutely gorgeous bottle. Now,
pink. Who doesn't love pink, Jono?
Well,
we love pink gins.
That's a very good call. We love pink gins, and the reason why I think this is so bloody special, Jose, is because it's a pink gin, but it uses the lily pilly, you know, which is a native Australian little berry, which grows often in coastal areas, which is where Manly obviously is. But also we've got a little bit of lily pilly around Port Melbourne. When I get off the tram every day, there's little lily pilly bushes, and so I always, you know, can have a little pick of a lily pilly. And
that's what you're doing in the bushes.
That's what I'm doing in the bushes. So I'm going to pour a little bit of the lily pilly into my glass and a little dash into Jose's. We might have to start easing you off a little bit, Jose, but I'll still get into it. And we're joined by the amazing Vanessa from Manly Spirits.
Vanessa. Vanessa, how are you?
Myself. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Ooh, she's got a splash.
Just a wow.
She's got a splash.
She's ready to go.
That's Manly splash.
Being downstairs.
It's all the waves.
It's Friday night, and we're all here to enjoy ourselves, and with gin, which is, as we have all been discussing, is the most amazing, versatile spirit, because you can do so much with it, so many amazing botanicals. So I'm going the gin bowl.
Absolutely. Vanessa, thank you so much for joining us tonight and being a part of this. Let's start off by talking a little bit about Manly Spirits. You guys have so much stuff going on. Can you give us a little bit of, for those of us who haven't been and seen you before, where you are and what it is you do?
Okay, well, I think I'm a walking example of, if you've got a really crazy idea and a dream, then mortgage your house and just go for it. So yeah, Manly Spirits, I've lived most of my life at Manly Beach, and we're a husband and wife team. We were originally, there's about 18 of us now. And we decided that we wanted to bring craft quality spirits to the northern beaches of Sydney, very much tying in what we really love. My My family, we're all surfers, we're surf lifesavers, we're scuba divers. So if you've ever tried any of Manly Spirits products, they've all got a marine element to them or something to do with the coast. One, it's things that I love, and it also ties all our part of where we are and our provenance of our products. So yeah, we've been really, really busy. Again, going for about 3 years, I think we've been open 3 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're a spirits distillery, so we do lots of gins, we do botanical vodkas, we do some really great liqueurs, and we do single malt whiskey as well. So big firstly launch at the end of the year. It'll be now close to about 4-year-old. So that's exciting.
The hair's just stood up on the back of Jose's back there. When you
Yes,
say single malt whiskey, you got to be careful, Vanessa.
What tell me, when was like let's start a distillery? That's not an easy thing to, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm gonna open a shop. No, it's a distillery. You need like big equipment, and how was that decision? When did that happen?
We decided to build our distillery, I guess, sort of to scale at the very beginning, which was a bit terrifying. I know we've got 4 kids who went, are you stark raving mad? What happens if it goes wrong? We're going to be homeless. And I'm like, if you're really hungry for something, you'll make it work. So yes, it was a bit stressful. We've been running ever since, but yeah. So that's sort of what we do here. We sort of always the next big challenge.
Is you the gin person and husband is the whiskey person? Or you both gin, like what is that?
Yeah. Well, see, I was a yachty, as in sailing yachts, so Sydney Harbour, and all the only alcohol that used to be on a yacht was beer and gin, because it didn't go off. So I was a gin person, and then my husband, his mother's Scottish, so he was a whiskey, and it was like, we had to do both, otherwise there was going to be a major divorce. So that's what we've done.
You have to do the cans because you got to get into the boat without having the risk of glass.
Oh, right? I don't have the boat anymore. The boat's gone. It's all that money's been put into stills.
And I think it's a very good investment, Vanessa. And I'd
rather have a still than a boat.
I'd rather have a still than a boat as well. So this gin now, the Lily Pilly pink gin, before we put any sort of garnish with it, or we add the tonic in as well.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about this gin specifically?
And the botanicals and
the Lily Pilly, that sort of thing.
Sure.
And this is the bottle. Yes, there you go.
So what this all came about was, as I'm sure most of you have all seen, there's these pink gins everywhere. And I just think they were doing them really badly. They were like a beautiful color, but they tasted really sugary and synthetic. And I just went, we could do this so much better. We want to produce a gin that's pink, but it's like a real gin. So when you have this, you'll realize some people were expecting it to be very sweet. It's not at all. It's like a real gin. It's juniper forward. The Lily Pilly gives it that dryness. It's got a whole lot of different Australian limes, like desert lime, rainforest lime. Actually, I've got some little pictures here. Lily Pilly. So that's what Lily Pilly's berries look like.
Yeah, like a cranberry almost.
Yeah,
they do. They're very much like that. Then desert limes. So we've got, which look a bit different. Oh, here we go. There's one on a tree. So that's a desert lime. And then we've got finger limes that I think Archie Rose was talking about as well. These are awesome. I first experienced these when I spent a lot of my time, because my father's lives up at Byron Bay. So we used to have them, we used to grow these up at Byron Bay on his property. And as they said, they are like caviar, real citrus bursts. So they're pretty awesome. So they're all in Lily Pilly.
Australian citrus caviar.
Yeah. And then again, what we wanted to do is tie in with where we are, and we're all about foraging things. So on the northern beaches, we actually foraged on They're called sea fig, or a lot of people know them as pig's face. You actually see them on the sand dunes. So we went and picked all those. And also nasturtium flowers. People grow them in their gardens. Slightly peppery. Put it all together. And then we got raspberries as well, which that's what gives that pink color. And we also then put them in a giant tea bag, if you can imagine. And then we soak the gin that we've made in that, and the raspberries infuse the color. And that's how you get the pink.
That's it. So
let me just change the camera because
sensational gin on the nose. It's awesome, and I love the way that you're championing the Australian botanicals in such an amazing way to produce a pink gin.
It won gold too. I won a medal. I won gold at San Francisco.
And very deserved. So let's put the garnish and the tonic in there and continue chatting to you because I'm fascinated by what Manly Spirits has going on. The garnish for this one, we've got some little cranberries there. So they should look something a little bit like this. They should be pretty distinguishable from the other ones. So I'm going to put a few of the cranberries in there. I'll put a couple of cranberries in there for you as well.
You can put a bit more.
If you want to put a little bit more, you can put a couple more.
You'll be shy.
And then the tonic that we're going with. Now this one is
this is Trish's. Let's say. How do you say? I cannot find the word in English. How do you say it?
I don't know what word you're trying to find.
You say like color. Follow the color.
So,
it's like
the color matching the color.
Matchy.
It's all about color coordination, guys.
100%. So normally, and I see that you guys at Manly, and I've tried this a lot with a lighter tonic, like a Mediterranean or even like a Fever Tree light tonic, and it goes sensationally. And so again, if you've got a little bit left in your little glass, save that and then maybe try it with a few different tonics. But I thought this was just beautiful with the aromatic because I think the aromatic brings out some of those amazing, unique characteristics in the Australian botanicals. Particularly myself, love the Lily Pilly and Finger Lime, two of my favorite botanicals. So as we put this one in here and have a little bit of a go at it, boom! It's amazing.
It becomes so mild and soft, and it's like
it's the sort of thing that you could drink on a Sunday afternoon, just sitting on the
session.
Deck chair, lying over, looking across the valley on the balcony. Right. It's an awesome drink. Also,
we also put a little bit of
how you do it?
fruity grapefruit as well.
Yeah. So Vanessa, this is a great way that we like doing it. How do you like doing it? With grapefruit? With what sort of tonic do you like?
I put a bit of grapefruit because I like the citrus. I love color coordinating as well because it's all about color coordinating. And then also, because if you're going to go with a big gin bowl, oops, someone answer the phone. Sorry about that. They will answer.
Just someone knock the door, so
no, it's too noisy. They're not answering downstairs. So also, when you're doing a gin bowl, it's all about how it looks. So I also put some thyme in it, which looks really good as well.
You can answer the phone if you have to, Vanessa. That's okay.
It's more that part of my little starting to get agitated because I have about 5 bartenders sitting downstairs, and I'm just wondering why they're not picking up the phone down there.
Why no one is? They're all drinking too much of your Lily Pilly Pink Gin. That's why.
In Friday nights, I will be getting calls from someone wanting to change my LED lights.
Yeah.
So you're lucky.
So, Manly.
Can I say what we've done, which for us was the big thing is from this, we have made these.
Yeah.
These are gin and tonics all done for you. So when you want to go to someone's house and you don't want to take all this because you don't want to be rude and take it back home.
Yeah.
Have them in use. You can actually take one.
That's the honest truth.
Gin and tonic.
You don't want to take it back home to be rude. Love it.
In a pre-pack done for you. And it's got no sugar as well. So it's a guilt-free G&T.
Guilt-free. We love guilt-free.
I mean, I feel like most G&Ts are pretty guilt-free.
Jonah, with the kilos we put in on isolation, what I need is guilt-free everything.
Guilt-free G&T and it rhymes as well.
That's
Do you have any idea how hard it was, oh, hang on, I'm going to take this phone outside.
Hello,
Nope,
Vanessa
I'm back.
speaking.
We don't hear the phone. Don't worry, Vanessa.
Yeah, just in the middle of a tasting at the moment.
Yeah.
I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can.
So with these ones, I did the full-on bespoke bottle, the little bottle like our big ones.
Yeah.
So they're miniature ones.
I know you went through a big extent for the detail on a small bottle.
And I got them manufactured in Australia. The glass actually got done in Australia.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Australian manufacturing.
That's what it's all about. Vanessa, I am in love with this gin. It's awesome. And I think it would be potentially really great in a variety of different drinks. Trish I think she might have tried it with a little bit of the elderflower as well.
Yeah.
I'm loving it with the aromatic, but Trish, you think maybe giving it a roll with the elderflower might be okay as well?
Pink with pink. No.
Yeah.
Jono, you know me, and I love that you nailed that already. Color and color, and I love Vanessa is all over that. 100% color coordinate. What I love about Manly Spirits, firstly, is I'd always kind of, heard about the coast of New South Wales and how they can be a little bit upper class for me. And I'm from like the riffraff of Queensland. And so when I went to Manly, I actually had the best time at their distillery. And I loved that. And do you know what I loved about Manly? They were pairing their Manly blue bottle, right, with the Mediterranean tonic, and what a match made in heaven. So I love that Vanessa's all about that. Yeah, of course. And that coastal influence is gorgeous. And I grew up around lily pillies coming from Queensland in my running around my shoes off days. Still doing that, but you can't see that because I'm on a Zoom meeting. But I didn't. And lily pillies are actually really quite tart and quite bitter.
Yeah.
But it didn't stop me as a kid from going back and picking another one off the tree and doing it again. Just because they're pink, you just think they're going to be like that. And that's why I think the aromatic does definitely work, like Jono was saying. Pear pink and pink. And we use a lot of dry botanical baking spices. And, now being in Melbourne, it's freezing cold. And those are really warming flavors. And we use pimento, ginger, green cardamom, Madagascan vanilla, ginger. It's really spice laden, and so I love that. But Jono and I, being the crazy people we are, we did pair elderflower because I think of Manly and I think of coastal seaside sunshine and rainbows, and obviously with that sort of fruit aspect. That it's just springtime. It's kind of what I want right now from where I'm sitting in the freezing cold. So I would recommend to you to try it with both. Because I really love Manly, and I think that you should try a lot of different Manlys, and I also think you should try a lot of different fever trees. So if you can try them together, the more the merrier. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Cool. I love your comments, Trish. You're the absolute tonic wizard.
This is one of the funniest things because a lot of people have been saying like, this is amazing, this is the great combination. So when you actually go somewhere to buy a gin, and we get these from the customer, sometimes you think like the pink color is just a gimmick, and this delivers.
100%.
This 100% delivers.
And we found that with the last couple of like the few tastings, and we try and show that with the McHenry's butterfly.
I know
with the butterfly pea.
Amazing.
With this one with the lily pilly.
Yeah.
Even with the fig gin from Adelaide Hills.
It's just amazing. The combination, it's and they are good gins.
Good Australian producers like Manly.
I think the difference
it's not gimmicky. It's actually really.
I think
really
the difference
thoughtful.
is like what we think about a commercial product that has a sales target by some corporate people, and then what is a small craft producer trying to make something really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this gin, Vanessa. Thank you so much.
That's right. Pleasure.
We're going to keep trudging on. Before we do, just a couple of short moments. What's happening at Manly over the next little while? Can we expect any new sort of gins that are coming out?
What's exciting you? What you've been working on? Tell us a little bit about as much as you can tell us. What's kind of secrets or about to be released, and what can we have?
Tell us your secrets.
Tell us your secret. Tell us your secret.
I'm actually working on a gin that will be released around Christmas time, just to our database. And the only hint I guess I can say is my family used to own a coffee plantation up north, so it's got links to that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And then I'm very waiting with my fingers crossed for our beautiful whiskey bottle, the production model to come back, so I can, which is pretty cool. So because we'll be releasing our whiskey and
whiskey and coffee.
All I can say about that is the bottle's inspiration is very much the cliffs of Sydney Harbour. So it's very beautiful. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then we've got all our little our RTDs, which are going the bomb at the moment. So
for who has never been at Manly at your cellar door, how they can get there? Do they need to do bookings right now? They want to go and visit you? Because we got a few people from New South Wales.
Yeah, so you can. The distillery is open to the public Thursday nights, Fridays from about 3 o'clock till 10 o'clock at night, all day on Saturday, or midday till 10 o'clock at night, and Sundays from 12 till 6. And because of COVID, we have a booking system. So you just have to go onto the website and you can book in. You can come and we do distillery tours all weekend at different times, or you can just come and have some really beautiful cocktails, hang out with your friends. We do little gin tastings. I have awesome staff who are, I couldn't run this business without them all. And there's even a bit of Manly Spirit sanitizer that smells like gin, but don't drink it, that are on the tables. Yeah, that was pretty busy for us for a bit of a time. It was a bit feral. It was a bit crazy, but that's all the pivoting and the journey of COVID. So we're hanging in there. So I'd love to see anyone in New South Wales. Come and see us, come and talk to us, and just, support Australian distillers and rejoice in the amazing pantry of botanicals that we have in this country that we can use to make, world-class gin. As we've seen.
Cheers to that. That is a sensational goal. Cheers to the botanicals in our backyard. And Vanessa, thank you so much. I understand that you've got a little bit of I don't know if it's a part A or a part B going down in the distillery downstairs, but if you want to leave us to go down there, by all means.
And you need to sort out
or if you need to tell some people that they should be answering the phones, absolutely, that's fine. We'll be here and we'll keep going on. And if you're still here, we'll jump back in with you later on.
Okay.
Jose.
No, let's let everyone know about the private tastings that we do.
Private tastings. Okay, so should we main camera?
Yes.
Should we make it a little main camera sort of job?
We probably need a third person now that is tasting when we need 3 cameras.
So there's a couple of things at the moment in Victoria. Obviously, we've got a lot of people in Victoria, but elsewhere as well, the supplies for everyone. Everyone's in lockdown in Victoria like this, and so a lot of businesses aren't able to see each other as they normally would be, or have Friday or Saturday knockoff drinks.
So basically, this is a spin-off of these tastings that we started doing back in the 3rd week of March. That's when we started our first live tastings. We had some customers asking us that they would like to do the same thing that we do, but with their
work colleagues. Essentially,
what
we're doing is, if any of you guys are in a situation with you've got a workplace or some workers or an office where you guys can't join together and have Friday night drinks, we can make the same sort of packs, send them out to you guys, and do the same thing at a very sort of very reasonable, cheap, discounted rate, just so we've all got something to do.
If you got a group around 10 people or more, we can host a gin tasting for you,
private gin
or
tasting.
Whiskey, or tequila, or cognac, or armagnac. We got everything.
Absolutely.
We got guns.
So if that's something you think if you guys would be interested,
but we won't have the distillers. We don't. We cannot get the distillers all the time. They got lives.
We might be able to.
I don't. He doesn't. But
absolutely.
So if you guys want a private gin tasting, we can
do that one. And also, while we're in the little intermission, next gin tasting we're doing is the South Australian gin tasting. We're doing it a week earlier, so the same sort of thing, but it's the South Australian one. Jose, I'll put the link in the description.
South Australia is gonna blow everything. It's you know,
We're-
sorry to say anything, but
we're tasting the
we both-
Prohibition 100 Years, the Dark Series, a collaboration with
let me
Chalkhill,
show
Never
them
Never from
over
the
on
Pyramid.
my camera.
So like the
over here.
the tastings for this one, I thought this tasting is epic and we wouldn't be able to top it. We haven't topped it because the tasting we're doing right now is sensational. But this next South Australian tasting, so these ones are all sold out at the distilleries. These are like limited of 100 batches. We're also doing the Applewood Finger Lime 1,000 bottle distillery batch. So, and this bottle of gin is
This is ceramic bottle.
pretty special one. And we might have some stuff available on the night. So that's on the 4th of September,
On the 4th of
Friday the
September.
4th of September.
Yeah.
We're going to do that, and then we're going to keep maybe doing a few more because we understand that there's a lot of us sitting at home at the moment
Well,
wondering
actually,
what
do
we
you
should
have
do.
customers asking or telling us that what we're doing? They really enjoy it, they embrace it, and you know they got
And that's
Melbourne customers, you know, that we now without much to do, so we have decided to
next gin after
maybe,
you're done talking.
no,
obviously.
maybe you have a poll. Maybe we can launch a poll.
Let's do the next gin.
Next
then
gin,
we'll do a
okay.
poll.
Then we launch the next gin. We're gonna go to my good friend Gavin
So next gin is the
from Holdfast
Holdfast Distillery. So we should all have the Holdfast Distillery there. I'm going to pour
Let
the
me-
30
let me
mils in
introduce
my glass,
Gavin.
and then Jose, introduce Gavin for us.
Gavin, I met Gavin, I think, on a whiskey show like 4 or 5 years ago. Gavin had lived in Japan for a long time. We also import, let's say, the most reputable small distiller of whiskey from Japan, which Gavin is very good friends with and also absolutely loves. And we end up having this basically joined love for the same person. And then I saw he was working with Riverborn, learning about distillation and getting trained. And now Gavin told me he was doing his own gin and vodka, and most likely he's doing some whiskey. You know, he will probably tell us about that. Gavin, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm very good and deeply humbled to be here tonight. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Holdfast Distillery, love what you're doing, man.
so I think, from that, you know, I've always liked drinking gin and whiskey, and I was very fortunate to move to Japan for a few years. And while I was there traveling around, having quite a few mates who'd been there a little bit longer, each weekend I just get pulled along to distillery trips, which turned into very epic whiskey festivals in Japan. And then on returning back to Sydney, I was lucky to meet Martin from Riverborn and do some distilling and blending out there, which has then led into setting up a little distillery with my mum. So
Yeah.
from there, like you said,
For how long have you been distilling?
maybe just about 2 years is probably about that. But I think like a lot of other people, I mean, it's about knowing the process of distilling. And I sort of always say to people, you're only as good distiller as you are of a good palate. So having a good palate, I think, is the thing that really helps make good gin, good whiskey, and blending exceptional spirits.
So, Gavin, and for everyone at home, let's have a little smell of this. Jose's going to show.
I'm going to show
the
the
bottle.
bottle here. Sorry, the bottle.
So-
Holdfast Distillery.
So one thing that I think is very special about the Holdfast Distillery is that you actually your still called Cyril. The 300 litre
It's
still.
making focus on your face.
The 300 litre still you have is powered by steam. So that might be one of the only few steam powered stills in Australia. Why do you use a steam powered still, and what do you reckon? What influence does that have on the spirit?
I want to make a precision before you answer that. As you guys might say, here, it's a batch of 113 bottles. This is how small this distillery is, and this is how we appreciate small producers. You know, this is a very small batch. You know, we're very lucky to have someone like this that puts all his passion on a very low volume product. Gavin, tell us about it.
So, going back to the still, it is a 300 litre still. I have just been doing like one third runs at the moment to sort of perfect that recipe. But the steam driven sort of stuff gives that balanced uniform heat around the whole boiler. So unlike if I was doing smaller runs with an electric still, you can actually burn some of the botanical and the spirits. So I just feel that steam is very gentle, and it's very responsive as well when you're distilling as well. So the process, what we're doing is always a very slow distillation, and you know, just adjusting the steam coming into the still by 1/8. You can either have it coming out at twice the rate or just turning it down to a nice trickle coming out.
What are your main botanicals on this gin? And I would like to know, which is your favorite botanical? And which are the main botanicals in here?
So the botanicals from here, the base is juniper and coriander seeds, and then cardamom, angelica root, and orange peel. So making this sort of gin, you notice that juniper sort of comes through in the nose, and just as that sort of leaves from there, that orange comes in, and then in that palate, the cardamom sort of comes through with that undertone of the earthiness of the angelica root, and with that orange peel and juniper, everything coming back together in that palate, and then leaving it out. Yeah. So I think from there it's also, and all the other distillers will go through. I mean, when you go through from making your gin, I mean, you're choosing that still, and then you're looking at process, what type of base you're doing. So what type of neutral spirit, is it grain based, is it sugar based or wine based, and then the process. So are you steeping the botanicals, are you doing each botanical individually? So from holdfast point of view, we're steeping all the botanicals for 24 hours besides the orange peel, and then 24 hours distilling that with the orange peel inside the gin basket.
Yeah. And it's absolutely on the nose. You get those Australian botanicals. Plus the juniper is really present, it's forward, and it's absolutely gorgeous.
It's so dry, it's very nice.
Yeah, it's typical London dry style, but with that Australian twist, which I think is sensational. Gavin, we're going to keep on talking to you. I'm going to put a little bit of ice in here. And I think this style of gin, particularly from my perspective, is the sort of gin which is really, really well matched with the gin and tonic, or almost designed to go with the gin and tonic. Jose, I'll give you a little bit of ice there, and you can see if you can get a little bit of.
You can get good stuff these times.
So with this one, we're going to go with the with the Indian tonic. So if you've got a little bit of Indian tonic, this is one which is like, it could match pretty well with any of the tonics because it's a typical London dry style. So if you've got a little bit of the Mediterranean left, it'd go gorgeous as well. I'm going to go with a little bit of my Indian tonic, but play around with this one. Whatever you're sort of like playing with at home, put a little bit of that in. I'm personally going with the Indian tonic I've got left over, but Trish will be able to talk about it a little bit more when we get to talking about the tonic matching. I think that this is one that goes well with a vast majority of tonic, and that's typical of the London dry style gin. So,
Trish.
Me again. Hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. It's been too long. John, I 100% agree. And it's so great to see the comments as well. And I think everyone's kind of, getting what we're getting, which is that sort of undeniable dry spice character, which is absolutely adorable. And you've got Georgie, who's a bit of a seasoned professional, and she wants to see the Indian tonic, which is what we paired, because Jono and I are a little bit more intense, classic, old school gin and tonic drinkers. But what I like about this is that dry spice character, and so that would obviously go with the aromatic tonic as well. And Jono mentioned the Mediterranean to maybe cool it down a little bit, and I think that's what you're getting is so much fun about mixing with these different mixes. But I think my two favorites, and I have tried it with both so far, is the Indian. If you really like that bitterness, we use Mexican bitter oranges from the Yucatan Peninsula, and they're just so zesty and so vibrant, but like green oranges, like really intense. And the aromatic tonic is like that warm baking spice, and we use green cardamom nuts. That pairs perfectly. And so I really love those two again. So I hope you got a couple of these left. And I still want to keep hearing your suggestions, because you know, like I said at the start, and, you know, Jono and I, we like to be the most intense people we can with our drinks. So, you know, we can rein it in a little bit if you do want to try a different tonic. But we said, what was the garnish, Jono? It was, what was the garnish we were going with, Jono, for this one?
Cucumber for this one. So we got a little dehydrated cucumber there, which is, I guess, you know, the quintessential London dry style, pays a bit of homage to that. And why not dehydrate a few cucumbers and slide it in?
I would like to hear what people think about it. Put it in the chat. And what we have not done, it's like, if anyone has a question for any of the distillers, please just put it on the chat. We ask them, and they are happy to answer. You know,
just throw it in the chat.
This is really nice.
Thank you.
Traditional.
Thanks for that, Trish. And you're absolutely spot on with your perspectives on tonic pairings, as you always are. But this one, for me, I love with the Indian, but I tried it with a couple of the other ones as well, and it's just a really good modern Australian take on a traditional London dry style gin.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of why we've gone with the cucumber, and I think it's just like so refreshing and the sort of thing that I could imagine drinking in a lot of different scenarios. Gavin, while we're drinking this little one, could you tell us about, and as Jose was sort of alluding to before, this is only the second run that you've done of this gin, and each run being very small. What sort of stuff do you have going on in the future? I know you've got this amazing Tussock vodka as well, which you do. How do you see your little distillery venture moving forward?
Yeah, so I'm just in the process now of looking for a new sort of place to move the distillery. So it's going to be probably about an hour and a half southeast of Canberra, just on a small distillery. Oh, sorry, in a small farmlands. But for me, my main part of it was looking for nice fresh water. So it's got a big stream running through it, which is about 6 to 10 foot wide and about a foot deep. And that just comes away from some mountain springs. And obviously water is not too important in making gin, but water is important for making whiskey. So that was the premise behind that. And then it would be co-locating all those distilleries together. So I have done a few whiskey runs, but they're in barrels. We do have a barrel-aged gin sort of coming out soon. And then some other sort of gins sort of coming out. So obviously a Navy strength gin, which we're looking at calling Man of War, and then moving into some pink gins and really focusing more on those Australian botanicals or those coastal botanicals to bring into the gin too.
And I think you, Gav, and we're seeing a lot of amazing Australian barrel-aged gins. You're someone who's got a very extensive whiskey knowledge and a really strong backbone. So I'm so excited to see what your take is on an Australian barrel-aged gin, you know, because I think that you're going to come up with something really clever. So I'm super excited for that.
I want to show everyone, let me cancel this. I want to show everyone, I'm not a vodka man, and you know, I always find it bland, but Kevin has come up with a really smart idea. He's done a Tussock vodka with Tussock grass inside.
Which is cool.
You actually would never think that just a little piece of grass will give so much character to a vodka, which is kind of neutral grain spirit.
Yeah.
But actually,
it does. It's sensational. Really good vodka.
Tussock vodka. Some Australian producer producing a great and the gin.
And the gin. So Jose will link the gin in the chat.
Yes.
500 ml bottle. Yeah. It's a really, really accessible price as well, and for the sort of gin.
Doesn't get smaller than Gavin's Distillery.
That's what it's all about.
113 bottles in a batch.
Let's support small Australian producers like Gavin, like Holdfast Distillery, by grabbing one of these bottles. It's really, really bloody good. And this on a hot summer's day, I mean, we're not quite there yet, but maybe we can create our own hot little summer's day in front of the fire. That with a bit of cucumber and your favorite tonic is the way to go. So Gav, we're going to jump back to you later on.
We got a question here. Hang on.
I got a question from Thomas.
Gavin, we got a question. Thomas, yes.
Yeah.
Thomas is...
what are you trying to achieve?
How was he trying to...
In the crowded London dry category. Yeah. So what am I trying to achieve? I just wanted to make a standard basic London dry style gin, it's come out a little bit more aromatic. And I think from being a whiskey producer, I sort of find some gins just a little bit turned down and too delicate. So that's how I've tried to make the gin, and also making it so how you pair it with different tonics or with different garnishes, you can still differentiate all between those botanicals. And from there, what I wanted to do was make sure that you can have handcrafted spirits at an affordable price. And then the second question was, where did you identify that you could differentiate yourself? I think I sort of just explained that. So focusing on being able to distinguish each one of those botanicals within the gin, and then doing handcrafted stuff at more of an affordable price for people.
And I want to add something to that. It's not sometimes that every distiller wants to differentiate themselves. Sometimes when you have opportunity to distill or create a product, you just want to do something your way. It doesn't need to be different. It's just like your way, and that is what happens. You know, sometimes some people might like it, some others don't. But I believe that every distiller, small distillery, does the best they can at what they do, and because it's all about a passion, you know, and it's that's the thing. They're not always looking for a market to differentiate themselves. They're just looking to do something that they're really passionate about. You know, it's what is important about small distillers.
100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and I love your gin, and we all love this. Is
it's awesome,
amazing,
and it's you know, a little bit of a gem that we probably wouldn't have been able to try if we didn't have it tonight. I guess there's 100 bottles ish a run. This is your second run, so your 200th run, and the way we've been able to spread it out and send it to 150 participants that are here tonight. It's awesome. It means that so many people have been able to try this fantastic gin.
You know, we dehydrated this cucumber ourselves. And if you notice it, when you put the cucumber smell comes up. I don't know if you have a dehydrated cucumber. I talk with a lot of people about dehydrating cucumber. They say, do not do that. Actually works really well. It's really vegetable.
Even a little bit of lemon juice on top will like keep it safe fresh.
If you guys have dehydrators, try dehydrating cucumber. Just wipe a bit of lemon juice on top.
And Bob will be your uncle. So let's keep rolling on. Thank you so much, Kevin. We'll jump back to you. The next gin we're going to, the last but by absolutely bloody no means least, is the Art Barrel Age. Jose, can we get a little bit of spotlight of the bottle?
And we're gonna spotlight here, Michael. Michael.
So,
how are you, mate?
Very well, thanks. And we're very excited to be here. But it's ERP as in wired ERP.
ERP, not ARP, Jose.
It's my language guy. It's like, don't be mean. It's like same language. It's like my wife. It's like my wife is correcting me all the time on my pronunciation. At least I got an excuse, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Michael, we've got here, and we've also got Cam.
Yes.
And it's sensational to have you both here tonight.
There we go, Cam. How are you, Cam? You're muted. Unmute. There we go. Somehow you'll get to it.
We can sort that out anyway.
Tomorrow.
But basically, we're trying this barrel aged gin, a gin that hasn't really been on the market for long. In fact, it's only really been in commercially like available scenes for the last week. So we managed to get our hands on a little bit of it before that, and we bottled it up and sent it out to everyone, and it's sensational. So the number,
there we go.
We got you there, Cam.
We're good.
Cam, how
We're good.
Man?
How are we?
Good. Thanks for joining, mate. Cam's the operations manager there at
Wild Earth.
Wild Earth. And I'm so thankful that you gave us the opportunity to try this gin tonight because it's sensational. So I'm going to pour 30 mils into my glass, my little pour that I've got. And as I'm doing that, out of either you or whoever, would you like to tell us a little bit about this gin and how it came about? From obviously you've got your number.
You're already tasting, but I want to show the bottle. Let me pause that. I want to show everyone this because you don't often get a ceramic bottle, which is absolutely stunning. You know, it's as a retailer, this is my you know, the best thing that can happen is that I greatly love it, but also delivers. Now, tell us about the gin.
So the Gin 8 was our original first London dry gin that we made for the market. And it was funny enough, over the year of us distilling and trying to get the right gins, that ended up being our 8th gin that we ever made. So, and it just stuck with the Gin 8, kind of like Coco Chanel No. 5, blah, blah. But it stuck with that. We ran with it. And we thought, let's throw it in some 15-year-old ex-fortified Shiraz barrels from the Hunter Valley. And we thought it might take a bit of time. It was our first barrel-aged gin that we'd put down. And over time, like, it started to change super quickly. Like the heat over summer in the barrel, just releasing those flavours. It was only in the barrel for about 8 weeks, which surprised us a lot. But the flavours just come across from the wood and the oak, the mandarin. It's just amazing, and we were super excited about it. So we didn't want to leave it in the barrel too much longer. So here we are, just on the market last week.
It's absolutely awesome. So this one is a little bit of a homage to the past in your number 8 gin, but also the future. You guys are doing some cool stuff whiskey wise as well, no?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the whiskey one?
So just going back one step, we're only 8 months old, and during that 8 months, nearly half of it has been producing sanitizer. So like a lot of distilleries, we've been caught out, and we've found COVID a little bit of a curveball, but we're back into what we're hoping to turn into a fantastic, I guess, range of spirits. So the capacity we have is that we can make gin, vodka, whiskey, rum, and liqueurs. We've set up the distillery slightly differently to other distilleries. So we have new equipment, and we've been able to set the distillery up from scratch in a very different way to most of the other distilleries in Australia. So our stills are not copper, they're made of stainless steel, they're not round, they're square. We actually use direct heating within the still. We can actually use the still in pot or column mode, and we're able to actually do the whole process in one still if we want to. So we can do mashing, fermenting, and distilling on the grain. So it's very different. And we're happy with what we've produced so far. As Cameron said, the gin, and as most distillers start in gin to sort of help with the cash flow, we're relatively happy with, or we're very happy with, but we don't have the longevity or the history there, and we don't have any awards per se. So
soon, hopefully.
Yeah, soon, hopefully. But we're working very hard at it, and we're just taking an innovative approach to how we're attacking the market. And yeah, we're really we're a 137-year-old family business that's been in building products for a long time, and we decided to have a look at distilling, and that's what the association is with the ceramic bottles, because we've been in ceramic tiles for a long time.
That's awesome. And I mean, you've definitely got one award tonight. You've got the Casa de Vino's Barrel Aged Gin of the Week award. This is sensational. I'm really in love with this gin. I think it's awesome. And I think what you guys are doing awesome, marrying that sort of, I mean, you say ceramic tiles or that sort of thing, but it is one of the sleekest bottles I've seen for gin, hands down, in a long time.
Sleek. Amazing.
And the barrel component of this gin, so your number 8 gin is great, but we've got someone in the chat, a good friend, Blake Hall, who's a young gin enthusiast in Melbourne who's trying to find his feet in the gin world.
Do you know Blake? I don't know Blake.
He's asking, when do you know, when the gin, you've got it in the barrel, how do you pick sort of when it's ready to extract?
I think one of the most important elements is that the barrel aging doesn't overpower the gin. It needs to complement it rather than overpower it. And there are a lot of barrel aged gins where you lose the original gin flavours. So we've tried to keep that balance there. So each week we're sampling the barrel and seeing how it goes. We have some more down at the moment, which are actually in Madeira barrels, and we're very close with those as well. So it's a horrible job, but someone has to keep on trying it every week.
Oh. If you're looking for if you're looking for any tasters, mate, I'm always available. With this one, and I also saw that you guys, from a distillery perspective, were pushing this a little bit yourself. But I'm going to put a little bit of ice here myself. We don't have a garnish match to it per se, but we do have a little bit of the Elderflower Tonic left over. So, Jose, there's a little bit of ice for you, mate. The Elderflower Tonic. This one, just in my opinion, goes with it absolutely sensationally. I'm going to put a little bit of the Elderflower Tonic in there, and perhaps maybe Cam. I saw you guys were saying the Elderflower Tonic on your page was the way to go with it. Why do you think the Elderflower, or Elderflower in general, goes well with this one?
Just the beautiful floral nose that comes across. Just like Michael was saying, we didn't want to put a gin into a barrel and let the barrel ruin it. So just adding that elderflower as well with the gin, it just really marries it together so nicely, and it's just super smooth to drink, I feel. We have only launched this last week, but we did a fundraiser early in the year where we had raffled off our first bottle of this, and we let people sample it over the bar. And the same response kept coming back. It was just super easy to drink, especially something that's been in a barrel that can actually ruin it quite quickly. So, yeah, we were super happy with that.
Oh, man. This is like, I don't know what everyone else is feeling, but this with the, we don't have a garnish for this one. We just put the Elderflower Tonic in with a barrel age. Drinking this is bloody good. Amazing. It's awesome. I'm absolutely in love with this. Trish, what do you reckon about the elderflower with this barrel aged?
Well, Jono, thank you so much for asking. I love this. I have heard about a distillery through the pipeline for quite some time, and I love their packaging. I love the look of their venue. I am really upset that because I'm meant to be based in Sydney for quite a lot of my time, I'm a Melburnian. So I would have already been there. And like I love that Jose was like, this is like all my dreams come true in a bottle, because you can tessellate it and it's just gorgeous. And I love trying it. And I love that we started at the barrel age, because I want to try all of them. And it's delicious. And I just love that it's like, woo, shoot from the hip. And I'm all about that. You know, just do it. Where the bullet lands, it lies. And I am shot through the heart with this gin, to be honest. And I can't wait to try the rest. I know that we talked elderflower. I've also tried it with elderflower and aromatic during this time, because it's a barrel-aged gin. And when you barrel age anything, you get these beautiful barrel aspects. So you get like, you know, a bit of clove, cardamom, you get those things that you find in aromatic tonic, because I have been tonight a little bit stingy with my tonics, and I'm just trying to try one with everyone, you know, and normally Jono and I just go gung-ho on everything, or gun-ho on everything, to make sure that we're giving people the most intense experience and giving them an aromatic experience. And for me, I love it, because herb, it is just what a finisher. I'm going to try everything that you do. I'm so impressed, and I'm impressed with all of you guys tonight. I just love this because I get to try so many delicious gins, but watch this space, all right?
That's it.
Amazing. So good. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, really, thank you.
Incredible.
Yes. I'm completely on the same page as you, Trish. I think that this gin is sensational, and everything that these guys are doing are really, really good. What I like about it as well is it's got that twist, that little bit of difference. I've never seen anything like it, like these bottles, and the fact that it's paying homage to the tiling background of your family. I just think that that's exquisite. I think that's awesome. Can we ask what is next?
Yeah.
What sort of things are we going to expect from you guys? What's in the pipeline? Obviously, this has just come out very recently, and it's great. Have you guys got anything else in the work?
Yeah, we do. We've been working very hard in the background on some rum and some whiskey, but we've just finished bottling this little baby, which is being released next week.
Oh, wow.
Woo.
This week, got released this week.
Sorry, this week.
How would you know about that?
So this
Amazing.
is
Love
very different. This is where we have tried to produce something where the mixologists and the bartenders around Australia can really have a blank canvas. So it's actually called Just Juniper, and it's called Just Juniper because that is the only botanical in it. What we've tried to do is to cut it so that we have all of those spicy flavors coming out of the juniper, and anyone that's mixing with a gin doesn't have to try and counteract the citrus or the other flavors that are in a traditional gin. So we're hoping that we can see that used by a lot of bartenders and mixologists around the traps, and that we'll actually see some very, I guess, experimental cocktails coming from it.
I'm going to ask you a question. So you guys are very, very new. Going forward, this will be a deep bottle, or you have plans on glass 700 mils going forward?
Yeah. So yes, obviously with the ceramic, that's our homage. That's who we started with, and that's our baby kind of thing. So
Yeah.
obviously we want to keep that. But moving forward, especially being so young and in the middle of starting our business, COVID hit and really took over for a while. But for us being so young, we've had the hardest job for me is going out and probably selling your product. And the people that have been hitting us up, bottle shops and like local bars in Sydney and from all around, they're doing my job. And I've just gone, okay, here's our gin. Instead of having to sell it to them, it's already them hitting us up. So for us to keep running this ceramic bottle to, if we want to go into bigger bottle shops or bars across Australia, which is probably the goal, we needed to turn to something that was a lot quicker to go down bottling lines and make it a lot simpler to get bottled and out there. So we are going with a 700 ml glass, but it looks exactly the same. So it's a full white coated glass and it looks amazing. I don't have one.
That's exactly what I was asking, because this is the best thing you can do for retail.
It's so unique. Never seen anything like it, and it's probably one of the. And this is one of 800 bottles. Is that right? For the.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, small batch into a couple of barrels, but we're looking at expanding that too, so making a lot more. So yeah,
we've got bottle number 800 here, so this might be a collector's item.
It should be.
Who released that from the distillery, Jono? It's mine now. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for joining tonight. This gin is bloody sensational, and I can't wait to see what you guys keep on doing, because if this is you guys have only been going for 8 months. If this is a little teaser of what you guys have to come, then the future is looking exceptionally bright, and we're excited to be a part of it. So keep humble little Casa de Vinos down here in Melbourne in the loop, because we want to be a part of it all.
Tell them about our next Southern tasting again.
Yeah.
Just to remind
So
everyone.
as we'll keep on finishing the gins we have in our glass, and we'll keep on chatting, and we'll go back forever. But yeah, South Australia is next. So we're going to state to different places that have some amazing.
And after that, because someone asked me, you miss Queensland.
Miss Queensland. We didn't miss Queensland.
We didn't miss Queensland.
We're not done once we finish with South Australia. We're going to go to Queensland. There's some places like Northern Territory. There are no distilleries. If anyone wants to prove me wrong, feel free. But Northern Territory, no distilleries. Western Australia, some great distilleries. Queensland, some exceptional ones as well. So by all means, we haven't forgotten about any states. We're going to keep going around and we're going to keep doing more great stuff. The South Australian one that's coming up next on the 4th, the Gin Ash, the Prohibition, 2 really exceptional gins, plus the Finger Lime from Applewood. We're spoiled for choice in South Australia.
The Finger Lime from Applewood, really, I think this will be the first very large tasting.
Yeah, well, they're tasting it this week, but
yeah.
this is like the first opportunity to taste this large batch. But anyway, we're going to keep on doing this, and thank you so much to everyone, all of you guys, for all the support and being a part of it, because it's really fun to be able to try all of these gins and open them and drink them with you guys. That's kind of why we do it, is a little bit of entertainment, especially at the moment we need it, and particularly the next South Australian tasting. It's an opportunity for us all to try some quite exclusive gins and match them with some cool tonics. In some cases,
Ellie Green says New Zealand should replace Northern Territory. If we could
I
travel,
don't think that's
I happily send Jonna to New Zealand to find some gins. You know, and we could do New Zealand.
I think that's a good idea. I've actually myself, I've still got a little bit of this art barrel in my glass. I'm gonna jump back to the first spot though. We'll go around the grounds, Jose.
Yep.
So we'll start with are we still, is Dave and Paul still here from Archie Rose?
Dave and Paul, yes, we got both of them. There's Dave. No, this is Paul here.
Paul,
how are you, mate?
Hi, I'm well. A lot better now. What a session. Loved it. Thank you.
I know.
Been good fun.
A lot of stuff I haven't tried. So that's my favorite part of drinking spirits is exploring something new.
Thanks, brother. Best part about it is you're at home, so you don't have to drive anywhere. You can just walk over into your own bed.
That is exactly right. Thank you.
Next up, thank you so much to Paul and also
Dave.
Yeah, Dave from
let's get Dave here. There we go. Dave, mate, thank you very much for joining.
It's always lovely to chat to you.
Man, it's been so long, and you've done so well.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Hopefully,
it's like what you're doing for the Australian spirits industry.
Hopefully, they'll open up the border soon. You'll have to come by and have a whiskey or a gin, and yeah, it'd be good to catch up with you. Equally, if anyone else is hanging out and we're in Sydney, feel free to drop by the distillery and have a drink.
A small note: the bar of Archie Rose, it's absolutely outstanding.
And there's a new little digs going on as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's like if you want to go, the collection of rum, because Dave is a massive fan of rum too. The collection of whiskey, rum, and gin at the Archie Rose bar in Sydney, outstanding.
Dave, thank you very much.
Thank you for joining.
And,
thank you for supporting.
So excited to keep doing this with you and seeing what Archie Rose has popped out, particularly the Harvest 2020, and we'll be launching it here at Casa de Vinos. Gav, do we still have Gavin from North of Eden there?
Yes.
I reckon we do. We can click up there, Jose, and there we are, up the top. Gavin, thank you so much for joining us, the hinterland of the Sapphire Coast. Has the storm come in yet, mate?
Yeah, look, the rain's starting to fall, and look, we needed it so much, although we did flood last week, and we'll flood again now. It's just been an amazing 2020, really, when you think about it. You know, we've had drought, then bushfires, then COVID, then flood, still got COVID. And look, we're just so grateful for actually being able to be part of tonight. It's been awesome. Great products, and you know, Australia makes some awesome spirits. And look, our heart goes out to those guys in Melbourne and yourselves and a lot of people that are sitting around, not being able to get out and whatnot. We really understand what that's like after only being able to trade for a few weeks this year. But I suppose sort of a positive side, you know, the money that we've been able to make, even though it hasn't been a lot, what we've been doing is donating it to our local area. We've been taking 10% of what we did in the early part of this year and donated to our bushfire affected people, because there's so many people in this part of the world that really just haven't got off the canvas. So look, thanks guys for all your support. It's been a wonderful day. Loved it.
And the north of Eden and all of the gins you guys have going on. We're so excited to be able to launch them from a Melbourne perspective for you guys, and also champion a great small Australian producer. And I think everyone's really blown away by your gin tonight, which is fantastic.
Awesome. Look, thanks for the opportunity. Really appreciate it. You know, I've got family down in Melbourne, so really feel it. So thanks, guys.
Cheers, Gav. And over to Vanessa. Is it still pumping down there in your distillery?
Yeah, I went down there, and yeah, you don't want to hear what I said, but anyway.
Well, thank you so much for joining, Vanessa. We're so excited by the gins you're coming out with as well down here, and tonight to try the Manly Spirits of Italy, but also to chat and get to know you has been such a fun opportunity. So thanks so much for being a part of tonight.
And thanks for everyone in Victoria, and I know you guys are doing it tough, more than we are up here. So yeah, hang in there. We are thinking of you, and yeah, we're all going to be all good in 2021.
Thank you very much. That's kind words.
That's very nice.
And also there might be some people that bought already for the coronavirus tasting we're doing next week, the EAD, because I saying we're doing it tough. I don't know if everyone knows. Next week we doing a gin tasting. Australian Melbourne produced tasting, Victorian brews.
Next month we're doing. Next week we're doing a tasting, supporting Victorian producers.
Yeah.
Sold out now, so there's not too much point talking about it.
But we might look at doing something.
Maybe we can extend a little bit. But Vanessa, thank you so much, and again, we're so excited to see what you guys have going on. Get down into your little cocktail bar there and enjoy yourself, and enjoy your time with your lovely staff there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gavin, from Holdfast, you're in Sydney now, but Holdfast is the home. Can we find him? Can we find him?
I can find Gavin, but maybe
he's just decided that he's had enough. There he is, up the top there.
There he's going. There's too many little boxes with people.
Gav, thanks for joining us tonight, mate. It was an absolutely sensational pleasure for us to be able to try this gin, and I guess tonight probably more people tried your gin than ever have before.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. So deeply humbled to be part of it, and thank you very much for the invitation on the early end. But it's also good to be part of such diverse distilleries as well, but also people which are a few years advanced from me, but also some world-class distillers and distilleries part of the mix tonight too. So it's been a learning experience for me too.
Absolutely, mate. And you are well and truly going to be a part of that, because this gin that we're trying from you tonight is sensational, and we've been absolutely loving it. So cheers, Gav, and we can't wait to do more of these sorts of things with you in the future. And finally, the last but not least, we were there already. Back to Cam, if Cam's still floating about. Cam.
There he's Cam.
Cam and Michael.
Spotlight.
Cam, cheers for joining us.
You're muted, Cam.
Is still muted, but he's in isolation, so he's probably got a bit of time to figure it out. Can't really hear you, Cam, but that's all right. We'll jump over to Michael.
Let's see how we can get Cam unmuted.
Let's do it. Let's unmute him.
Yeah. Maybe you are not host, so
we probably haven't co-hosted him. We probably have to. We'll type in Cam, and then we can ask to unmute, and then we can probably do it.
Yeah, I'm not a host, so I couldn't unmute it. No, thanks guys for having us.
Start everything. You played a trick with us.
Thanks for having us. It's been really great, especially for us being such a small young distillery. We're really excited to work with a lot of other distilleries and see some amazing Australian spirits get out into the market. And for us, that's the main goal, to make great spirits, not just from our distillery, but from all around Australia. So thanks for having us, and thanks Fever Tree as well. Awesome.
Yeah, thanks Cam. And I'm so excited to keep working with you guys. You guys are doing some amazing stuff. And to Michael as well. Michael, should be there. Michael's
still there.
Yep. Thank you so much for joining tonight, and we're super impressed by the stuff you guys are coming out with. So we can't wait to be a big part of your future and showcase all your stuff. And
you
and
said
taste
this is
them.
the first time this whiskey, this gin has been in Victoria.
It's the first time this gin's been in Victoria, but the first time that probably a lot of people have tasted it.
Yes.
You know?
So yeah, that's your credit to find the newest of the newest.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. And thank you, Michael,
So
for
thank you,
allowing
Michael.
us to be one of your first.
Some of the first people to taste it.
Yeah, correct. Thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we're very, as Gavin said, very humbled to be part of it. Thank you.
Cheers, mate. And finally, Trish.
Our lovely Trish.
Thank you so much, Trish, for being here tonight and for sharing all your amazing tonic wisdom and for just being the amazing Trish you
Our
are.
tonic fairy.
Tonic fairy, yeah.
The tonic fairy. Yes.
I love you guys. This is such a great way to end a week. I wish we did this weekly and not monthly as my only recommendation. So I'm going to give you 4 stars on your webpage. I'm going to write. So enjoy. No, thank you so much. I love you guys. You are amazing. I actually, I don't know if you've been following the comments tonight, but I've got new housemates and we're just going to have a gin and tonic house moving forward. So you can just send me the live video and we'll go from there.
That would be awesome.
Sounds like the way to do it.
You're amazing. I love you. Love you.
Thank you for the support.
And to everybody who's here tonight, we also have a Casa de Vino's Gin Facebook club. So Casa de Vino's Gin Club, if you type that into Facebook, you can request to join. There's just, a few of us in there, and we talk about these gin tastings and the next ones we have coming up. It's a lot of fun. It's just a really relaxed group, and it's sort of to talk about all these tastings and everything going forward. A lot of regulars that have done tastings before with us in here tonight, and a lot of new faces as well. Thank you so much. We're going to keep doing these because we love it. We love championing Australian producers, and we love matching it with these beautiful Fever Tree tonics. So that's about all I've got for tonight. Jose, do you have anything else to add?
No, I absolutely love tonight. I would say thank you everyone for what you supported us. Over many people here, they follow us through the whole tastings.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We will continue doing tastings.
And they're going to be so much fun.
Innovate.
South Australia is going to
Always
be awesome.
innovating. South Australia is going to be amazing. After that, we might join Queensland with Western Australia.
Yeah, Queensland, Western
Yes.
Australia, and New Zealand's not the worst idea.
Jono, what's happening in October?
October, we've got some really fun stuff happening.
Birthday, maybe?
Castavino's wife's birthday. So it's Castavino's 10th birthday. So we're going to do, so that Castavino's has been in NZ for 10 years. We're going to do the biggest gin tasting ever like this, but
10th
we're
anniversary.
going to taste things that are crazy. So this is the 10th birthday kind of anniversary Castavino's.
Jono's
tasting
going
planning.
above and beyond anything to
It's gonna be
find
fun.
stuff. And maybe we got something
It'll be fun.
exclusive just for us.
So we might be working on a couple of things with a few distilleries on doing a couple of little things. I don't know how much we can say, but all we can say is it's going to be awesome. And there's going to be some really unique gins.
Yes.
And maybe we have a little bit more of a in them than other.
Something.
There's some cool stuff going on. So thank you all so much for being a part of tonight. It's hard to say goodbye because I want to just keep drinking gin with all of you. But we have to, unfortunately, jump over to our Casa de Vino's Gin Facebook page, share your photos of tonight, how much you've loved it. Go to these distilleries and grab a bottle of their gin, show their Facebook pages some support, give them a like, give them 5 stars, do all of that stuff. It's been so fantastic being a part of it tonight with you. It's 9 o'clock. We've been going over 2 hours.
Sorry.
I need to go reside
Went
into my bed, and I'm going to have a little bit of a
Johnny
croissant. So thank you so much, guys. I'm out, but it's been a hell of a ride. We'll see you in South Australia. Woo!
Yeah, guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.